Economic processes, how do they influence the world community and everyday life of people? What trends will be popular among consumers and how will the international markets evolve? For further details, watch the program People and Economy.
Today in the program, cyber insurance, the battle against hackers enters a new phase. How to improve your health without paying for treatment? And why should we preserve our insurance history? British drivers are offered a cheap insurance. Instead of £432, they can pay £378 on condition that they install a black box on the dashboard. In case of a road accident, its videos will be used as evidence. The US increases fines for absence of medical insurance. Since 2015, it will make up $275 or 2% of earnings. Currently, the amount of penalty does not exceed $100. The British government enters into partnership with 12 insurance companies in the sphere of cyber insurance development. Currently, hackers' attacks pose a serious danger to business. High expectations have been raised that additional insurance costs will improve the information protection level. Insurance services are becoming popular all over the world. According to Swedbank surveys, more than one-third of Latvian residents would be unable to recover their houses should fire or some other accident occur. Like in 2013, somewhat more than one-fifth of the country's population relies on property insurance. Each person is interested in insuring something. Such interest appears when people face with some unforeseen events in their life. They understand that they could account for help should they be insured. Because of that, I regard insurance as the sector which helps people to recover damages in case of unfavorable circumstances in their life. But it is an individual choice for everyone, whether he needs it or not. In Canada, you can insure all your property and almost everything inside it for additional fee. It can be, for example, music instruments, collection kitchenware, furs, equipment or household appliances. In case if some time will be needed for repair and rearrangements after fire or floods, the insurance company undertakes to cover your expenses on living in a hotel or rented flat, as well as other everyday costs. The price of such insurance is about $25 per month. The insurance market of developing countries makes up 43% of the total volume. For the last 3 years, its growth in China reached 18% and in Singapore 10%. Intoxications, bites of insects, attacks of predators or even toothache may occur with any tourist in a foreign country. At the same time, local doctors are unknown and there is not much money. There is a case when insurance for foreign tourists becomes necessary. Instructions usually contain contacts of managers whom you can ask for help. Additionally, you can insure your house for the period of your absence. Visiting a medical institution on your own and further medical treatment may cost you a pretty penny. So, to avoid additional expenses, you can consult any insurance company. There you can acquire an insurance policy for tourists or individuals going abroad and choose an appropriate sum of insurance which can vary between $10,000 and $100,000 or even $150,000. The responsibility before other persons can also be insured. Usually this applies to bus and truck drivers transporting hazardous cargoes and employers. Therefore, if an accident occurred due to a third party's fault, it will ensure you the right to claim compensation even without having your own insurance policy. Vehicles are insured most of all. The survey of the Association of British Insurers shows that 29% of funds raised from vehicle insurances are spent for repair and spare parts, 26% on salaries and current costs, 20% on coverings of neck injuries, 15% on treating of other traumas, 9% on covering of accident damages, 3% on uninsured drivers and only 2% on theft coverage. Usually, insurance companies suggest standard range of services, but there are also some exceptions. For instance, singers insure their voice and athletes their legs. Concluding a multi-year contract on a shampoo promotion, its producers are interested that hair of a famous person, the main character of their commercials, would remain in good condition during all that time. Especially in Western countries, people insure separate parts of their bodies when there is a precedent. Insuring various items, not only life, is first of all based on material interests. Thus, we don't see any sense in insuring our arm only because we are afraid to lose it. But if by means of this arm or leg or any other part of our body we bring benefits to the society, we decide to insure it. It can be, for example, hands of a famous pianists. The development of this type of insurance is necessary.
Руки пианиста, да, какого-нибудь гениального.
The strongest card in insurance companies is reputation, analysts say. Prices for similar services in one country usually maintain on the same level. The main goal of any client is to receive compensation in cases of force majeure. Except the information provided by the insurance company itself, additional details are also needed, in particular if the firm's license is still valid and what other people think about it. Insurance contracts contain a very important point – territory of the policy. Life insurance usually covers the entire world. In terms of motor transport, such documents are usually valid in one particular country. However, the European Union has enacted the insurance agreement which binds insurance companies to consider all the accidents which took place in any of the EU countries. The territory of the policy is a particular geographical place where any insurance events and risks, should they happen, will be covered by the insurance company. For better compensation, people resort to various tricks. Security services of insurance companies, in their turn, suppress these attempts. Moreover, all the information on such incidents is stored in organizations like the National Insurance Crime Bureau. It also making the battle against dishonest clients and partners more effective. The most common insurance frauds are related to documents. However, according to the statistics, nowadays falsifications of this type are almost impossible.
Подделка документов.
By now, counterfeiting insurance contracts has been almost eradicated because everything can be checked online. Along with that, you can verify any information about the validity of an insurance policy by calling directly to a proper insurance company. You will receive an answer within 15 days whether such a policy exists or not.
Договор или нет, и действует ли такой полис страхования или нет.
The occurrence of an insured event indicated in the insurance policy usually causes panic. A specialist tells about the main points of getting compensation. In case of emergency, you should immediately consult your insurance company. It can be done by contacting the call center. The majority of insurance companies have this service, which usually functions 24 hours a day. Then you should visit the compensation department and get the list of all documents necessary for covering your losses. After the examination of these documents, your insurance company will decide whether to pay you this compensation or not. In order to avoid any surprises, it is recommended to read all the documentation very carefully, especially it concerns insurance policies. Insurance policies in the US are paid by clients themselves or their employers. Their cost depends on the number of services included. Usually such policies are intended for covering of a certain sum. Any surplus of these funds is to be paid by the insured person. A person can count on a full insurance compensation only on condition that he or she would pass preventive medical examinations and immunization once a year. To a certain extent, it makes people prevent diseases instead of further treating. Statistics shows that only 25% of US citizens pay health insurance fees without the participation of their employer or other funds. Almost 9% of them are more than 65 years old, 6% are under 18, and only about 10% are between 18 and 64 years old. In countries with compulsory health education, people can count only on emergency medical assistance. In other cases, a payment or insurance policy will be required. Overdue insurance payments incur fines. Each insurance case is unique. It is necessary to bear in mind both the validity of your policy and the amount of deductibles, as well as respect the deadlines of submitting information and documents. Users of social networks have diverse experiences in using services of insurance companies. Citizens in rural areas need hospitals but can't go without insurance. Hospitals are closing because they need patients. Water damage can happen to anyone, anytime or anywhere, so always remember to call Emerge Plus NC Property Rescuers 919 Emerge Plus NC 363 7462 because we are exactly who we appear to be. Kazakhstan practices compulsory and voluntary types of insurance. Thus, for instance, the employer is obliged to conclude a special agreement with employees for covering damages in case of any accident. Meanwhile, workers can insure themselves only on a voluntary basis. Moreover, forcing somebody to acquire a health or life insurance policy is considered illegal. In Kazakhstan, there are 9 types of compulsory insurance. It is quite a long list. Still, only 3 or 4 of them are in demand. They include the driver's liability insurance, the liability insurance for passenger carriers, the insurance of employees against accidents in production, and the ecological insurance for owners of hazardous facilities. Insuring employees against industrial accidents is compulsory. A guaranteed compensation for employment injury requires the employee to conclude a written agreement with the employer. And if an insurance event occurs, representatives of public services, such as police and medical teams, should be immediately called to the accident scene. Each employer is obliged to insure his staff against employment accidents, which can lead to partial or complete loss of capacity for work or even death. After that, the insurance company undertakes to compensate the damage incurred to the worker or his family. Since recently life insurance has become especially popular, its various types allow saving up for children's education and at the same time ensure them additional support in case of an accident. First of all, insurance provides us additional advantages. Once obtained an insurance policy, we know that in future we shall avoid some expenditures, such as paying for our children's education or wedding. In addition, we shall have some pre-retirement funds. Finding a large amount of money will be hard in a short period of time, but saving up 10 or 15,000 tenge each month can help us to accumulate 4 or 5 million tenge within 15 years. After that, we shall not worry about how to pay for our wedding, education, or how to live after retirement. Credit insurance is regarded as an additional cost. In order to obtain money from creditors, the majority of borrowers prefer to buy a one-year policy, which they usually do not prolong. Nevertheless, in case of health damage or loss of the main source of profits, such as an automobile or something else, the insurance compensation will be needed more than ever before. On the one hand, credit insurance secures a bank or any other lending institution, and on the other hand, the borrower against loan defaults. For instance, we purchase a vehicle at a cost of slightly more than $20,000. We use it for work, which brings us a monthly profit of $1,000. The complete insurance package from Casco Insurance Company costs $900 annually, or approximately $75 per month. In case of a serious accident, the repair at the cost of several $1,000s may be needed. Moreover, we shall be losing our business while our vehicle is under repair, and even the above-mentioned $75 will not compensate our loss. It is no doubt that insurance companies do everything to pay less. In Kazakhstan, we can consult an insurance ombudsman before bringing the case to a court. These services will be absolutely free, and even if the guilty person ran away from the scene of accident or did not appear in court, it will be quite easy to identify him in a special database or figure out his insurance policy. Insurance ombudsman as an institution has been created to settle disputes between insurance companies and their clients. Thus, we have to ask an insurance ombudsman for assistance in case if we have disputes with our insurance company. As a matter of fact, natural disasters may happen in any part of the world, and Kazakhstan is not an exception. It can be a hurricane capable of tearing off house roofs, as well as floods, hail, and so on. Repair of a house usually entails much spending or sometimes can even be unreasonable, and a valid insurance policy can be the only financial support in such situation. Various parts of infamous Titanic were insured in several hundred insurance companies. Only its body and equipment were valued at £1 million sterling, which in our days would make up £66 million. Of course, compensating all the damages was impossible. Nevertheless, obtaining a reimbursement from an insurance company may be helpful in compensating at least material losses.